This is another dope. And to me, this gets back to the essence of why I wanted to do this Talk Your Shit segment or episodes or out. I've known Robert for over 20 years. I'm gonna say it again.
Out of fingers and toes, Jesus.
And I used to get to work early because I used to set up the building, and I would sit in my car and I look over and I see this blue Dodge Ram come into the parking lot, and he parked, and he usually be like, maybe.
So at the time, you couldn't miss me. I got 2 10s in the back.
Yeah.
You
it was always
miss me.
knocking, yeah. And I would always kind of glance over, and I'm like, oh, Robert's here, okay. And I would look, and he was always studying. He was constantly studying. And then I would start setting up the building, he'd still be studying, and then at some point, showtimes, get the job started, get on the roll. But I saw him do this for so long, and then eventually at some point, he graduated, and he got the fuck out of UPS. I'm not mad at him for that. But what I always thought was dope, and I told him when I wanted to do this, to Talk Your Shit with him, I always thought it was dope that he was dedicated. He never wavered. He had a goal in mind, and you could see it, and he had that determination, and I always respected him for it. And I think it's dope, and to be able to give him his flowers. And I think it's important for people to have this insight and information as far as career choices and paths that they want to go into. So he's a brother to me. I met him a long time ago at UPS, and he became family. I think I even told him when I even met his dad, and I remember his dad was he has this mean look. He's a mechanic, and he had this really mean look. And I said, I know your son. He goes, oh, you know Robert? His whole face changed.
The nicest person you could ever meet, but at the same time, the meanest motherfucker. You don't want to be on his bad side, but if you were on his good side, he would take very good care of you. The nicest person you could ever meet in your life.
And I'm telling you, his face went from mean to, oh, you know Robert? Okay, you go. I said, that's what's up. But ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, we give to you Robert Sushin. How are you doing this morning?
I'm good. How about yourself?
I'm tired.
Yep.
Very tired.
This is early.
All right. So, like I said, we met 20 years ago at UPS. I used to see you in that blue Dodge Ram every day. Did you already know that you wanted to become a CPA?
No.
Or was it just something you did one class at a time?
Actually, so my mom's got a great story of I was little and she was CPA, and I see the hours she worked, especially during tax season. Tax season that's a beast. And she'd be coming home 10 o'clock, 10:30 at night. And I remember telling her, I don't know what I want to be, but I never want to do that. Nope, that I won't do. And so 2 things I learned. One, there is a higher power. There is always a master plan. And 2, they have a sense of humor. And they will make you the butt of the joke. And they will take notes. Oh, is that what you said? Here's the thing. And so, no, that was never the master plan. That wasn't what I wanted to do. It was I was a victim of circumstance. I graduated in 2009, which was the height of a recession. So that was with my bachelor's, and the writing was on the wall. There was no job. So did all the work, got the degree. There wasn't a job at the end of the rainbow like they always told you. So it was, all right, well, I'll continue doing what I know, and that is stay in school. So I just continued on with it, and just kept pushing on, and eventually there is a master plan, and sometimes everything lines up, and it's just like, well, that's what it's going to be. So you roll with the punches, and you end up where you're going to end up, and sometimes it ends up it's better than you could have ever imagined, but there was a lot of work to go into it. So no, that was never the idea.
So with that not being the idea, was there a moment when you decided to take this path that you thought about just saying fuck it altogether and quitting?
Multiple times, yes.
Okay.
I'll give you an example. So the CPA exam is a beast. If someone can tell you they have conquered that and they've reached their goal, hats off. I will give their kudos. So as far as statistically, you are more likely to pass the California bar than the CPA exam.
Crazy.
To give you
That's crazy.
yeah. So and so the CPA exam is its own beast. Once you pass your first section, there's 4 sections, your time limit starts, and you have 18 months to pass the other 3. So you have 18 months to pass all 4. And so I got to a point, I passed 3, I was on my last one, and I was on my last month. So it was, if I pass this, I'm done. Or if I didn't, I'm back to 50% because your first one drops off and you got to do that again. So it was a make or break it kind of moment, and I was at my wit's end. I've been battling this for, we'll say, at least 6-7 years at this point. And one section will destroy your whole thing, and that may not be what you do every day. That may not be what your experience is in, but that's what they test you on. So they want to make sure you're well-rounded and know everything. And a lot of it is we'll say public companies. So if you have stocks, if you are on the exchange or whatever, that is a different beast than that's not my clientele. That's not who I deal with. That, and once you get stocks and like all those other requirements to be able to do that, it's completely different than what you do every day. And it's a lot of theory versus what you do every day. And it's the theory behind why you do that. And so, for example, there's an audit section, which I do audits. I'll have my little section that I do of an audit. I may not understand why I do that, but they test you on the theory behind why you do the procedures that you do.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have cutoff testing, you have there's a whole lot of things that go into that. And it's the theory on why you do the procedures you do, but that's different than your day-to-day. Your everyday is different. So yeah, so
on the why.
even doing audits, the audit section, that one was the one section that hung me up. And the theory behind things, the acronyms on why you do all the things that you do, there's a whole course on the test. So even after you have all the education, you have to do a whole nother course to learn the test rather than learn the knowledge that you already have.
Yeah.
So
Crazy.
so like a SAT, the way they phrase the question, that's different than the knowledge of what you have. So you have to learn the test itself and then have the knowledge to back it up.
Shit.
Well, I mean,
I'm out.
Yeah, you lost me. Shit, I'm like, nah.
Not I'm out.
What do people around you misunderstand about your journey?
So I had a lot of friends. I had a lot of friends stay in construction at the time, making good money, and just like, why are you wasting your time with education? And they had the money to back it up. Just like, I'm making money right now. Why would I waste my time?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay, and you know what? I just stuck the course and like just stayed to it. And unfortunately, they topped out. They topped out a lot sooner than I did. And once I had that backing that I had pursued, I was able to catch up and surpass what they were doing for years in a short amount of time. I will never put my nose up to education. Education is that will always open doors for you, and it is never a bad investment. The more knowledge you attain, the better you will always be.
Yeah. How would you say working at UPS prepared you for running your own business?
So working at UPS, one, you learn you're gonna do things you don't want to do. You're
That's
gonna
facts.
get up every day. You're getting up and showing up. That's 3/4 of the problem. And if you do that much, you're already winning against the person next to you. So it teaches you a schedule. It teaches you how to deal with other people. It teaches you how to work in a group and strengths, weaknesses, and it teaches you business in a basic form,
Mhm.
but you can apply that in a multitude of ways. So I I like my time at UPS. It was a solid foundation. I wouldn't do it again.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you.
But my back still hurts.
Yeah, yeah. My hands are fucked up.
Mhm.
If you could talk to your younger self sitting in that truck, what was one thing you'd tell them?
So success is not a straight line. Sometimes you got to roll with the punches, and sometimes you're going to take a setback, and sometimes you don't see the master plan. You don't know where you're going to end up. Anytime a student is in school and they say, "I'm never going to use this. Why do I have to learn this?" You don't know.
Mhm.
You absolutely don't know what life's going to throw at you.
Mhm.
And anytime you say, "I'm not going to ever need this," karma has a weird way of slapping you upside the head. And they're like, "So here's what we're doing today."
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you're using that slope formula that you said you were never going to use.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what some people think is overnight success that actually took 20 years.
So it's a mindset. So if you get up, you grind, you do your thing, you get into that rhythm, and that rhythm is what took 20 years to establish.
Mhm.
So if someone thinks they're just going to jump into something and be successful and just wing it, you're not going to be successful. It's a mindset. It's goal orientation. It's keeping your eye on the prize. It's getting up and doing what you don't want to do every day. And if you don't have that backing, you will not be successful.
Facts. So I part of also having you here is I feel like it's important for listeners to know the common mistakes that might come across your desk, and we'll go through that. What's the biggest tax mistake people make every year?
One of the biggest ones that I've been dealing with, say this week, people will put their head in the sand and try to ignore the problem and think it will go away. Those problems do not go away, especially with the tax man.
Mm-hmm.
And so this past week, for example, I was dealing with a client. The last time they filed was 2016.
Damn.
They're
They fucked.
10 years.
10
What?
years behind in filing their taxes.
They fucked.
Okay. So
Why would you do
I'm
that?
doing the returns, and the early ones, the husband making real money. We're talking 150, 200,000 over withholding, huge refunds. We're talking $10,000, $20,000 refunds. Here's the thing: you can only go back and request your refund for 3 years.
Ooh.
Oh.
So then he retires. Everything changes. These last
Yeah,
couple of
you get
years,
that.
they're owing money.
Wow.
They left almost, it was 58,000 and some change on the table for not filing, and they end up owing like about $20,000 for these last
Yeesh.
few years.
Damn.
So they could have
I'm crying for them.
solved all of their
Yeah.
problems by just filing their returns. Now their situation. So she had cancer. There's other things going on. I understand, and they came to us, and we. I'm bound by the information you give me.
Mhm.
So I had questions. This was incomplete. So I sent them home with homework. find me these answers and we could wrap this up. Then they disappeared. They disappeared for 15 years. Then come back. I have the answers to your questions. Okay, great. You were owed $20,000 on this return, but you didn't file. You didn't sign the paper. You didn't. We didn't complete it in time. Money on the table, and so they shot themselves in the foot. And I was dealing with this literally within the last couple of days.
That's so
I
sad.
I have one comment to that, Robert. This year, can I just get my packet via email? Because I'm not finna fill this big ass questionnaire.
So we are trying to transition to that, but most of my clientele, they're older.
Oh,
They don't have the email. They don't.
I'm only 40, Robert.
Yeah. So most of my average client is probably between 58 and 65.
Oh, I'm young then. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But
All right.
those are the people that need my services.
Okay.
So we are trying to transition. We're not quite there. So,
All right.
but the amount of postage that we put out to mail those packets to everybody.
Yeah.
And most of the time they come, they haven't even opened it. Here's your packet back. So that was for you to open and
because I'm not gonna lie, I was like, ain't shit changed, Robert. I'm just gonna see these forms.
And so that's a roadmap. It's supposed to help people. And if you got a lot of different things going on, I didn't think about that. I didn't think about that account or whatever. Last year you filed with this, and it's hints.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Last year you had this going on. Do you still have that going on?
I got you. No, I get the purpose. I just like, God damn, this is a goddamn look like a goddamn Congress bill.
Yeah.
It's like,
But people were like, "Oh, I have homework." Like this was your help. I was giving you, and you're welcome.
Help me help you.
Exactly.
Mhm.
What's one legal tax strategy that most people don't even know exists?
Please tell me.
Okay. So a legal tax strategy. So this isn't our bracket. None of our. It's not mine.
damn, Robert, I know I'm not rich.
No.
You know that, man.
This when you are, we'll say, quote unquote rich, there is they call it live, borrow, die. So you live, you gain wealth, whatever that means. So you can actually borrow against your wealth. So say you have a account that is invested in the stock market, whatever, and it's worth $1 million or plus. You can actually go to a bank and say, I have this account, it's worth $1 million. And they will say, okay, we'll use that as collateral. We'll give you 40% of your portfolio. So $1 million, $400,000, we'll give that to you cash money. So you put that into the market. They will charge you an interest rate. If you can beat that interest rate in the market, you've lost nothing, and all you are doing is gaining. And so this is not for me. This is not for, but there is at 100% legal, and you can even write off the interest that they charge you on borrowing against your own capital.
Sound like I gotta start scamming.
Damn, shit.
But you need the capital to show the bank up front.
Yeah.
But that is a
That's how they
very
stay
legitimate
rich.
tax strategy that the elites use, and they haven't sold a thing. They're not out anything. All they do is say, this is what my portfolio is worth, and they can get fronted the money. And as long as they beat the interest rate, they've gained money and lost absolutely nothing.
So what's the po man's tax strategy?
So at that
what
point,
you got for us?
so you can either not claim all of your income, you could over exaggerate your expenses, you can
Okay.
I'm not saying do that. Don't do
Oh.
that. But that's
But
what you
you're
can
gonna do that for me.
No, that is absolutely not what I do. No.
Yeah, when I get this packet this year, Robert, there will be some over exaggerating.
So, and okay, for
I
example,
bought Kevin this table.
Yeah, you did.
I've got someone who works 40 hours a week. They have a W-2 job. They have a side hustle. For their side hustle, they're gonna tell me they drive 60,000 miles a year.
Woo.
Really?
But you're working 40 hours a week.
Yeah. So after working 40 hours, it is not possible. I'm on the other side of that desk going, no, there is no way. And I will even back it up with, so the average is 10,000 miles a year, 10 to 12,000 miles a year. That's California. We drive more than anywhere else. So you do 5-6 times that in addition to working full time. When? How? You're a full-time truck driver when you're not on the clock. No, absolutely not. But they'll sit on the other side of the desk with straight face and be like, yep, double down. That's what I want. All right. So my job is to create a return for you. And I will try to say, you might be pushing the limit here. This is a little outside of what I would expect. But at the end of the day, I have an engagement letter. That engagement letter says, I produce a return, and it is based on the information you provide to me.
Gotcha.
So if you tell me that, I'll do it. I will give you all of the. I wouldn't if I was you, but at the end of the day, they contracted me to create a return on their behalf. I can do that. I will do that, but that is based on the information they give me, and that's not on me. So, and I've got all the legal things to back me up on. You sign this here, initial here, and this is what you want. And okay, that if you want to push that envelope, go right ahead. But I will caution against it when something is very out of.
You read between the lines like that. Hey. If they come after somebody, it's your ass.
It's you. Yeah. If you get audit, and if you're in an audit situation, I'll have your back, and I will be the divider between the IRS and you. So I'm like the lawyer, so they're not talking directly to you, and I will have your back. But at the same time, that's what you had to say, and that's what you told me. So
I back as far as I could, like, hey. You on your own a little bit.
I'm gonna tell you right now, he's not bullshitting, because I was like, last year return, I was like, yeah, I use my cell phone. We use our cell phones for business. He's like, yeah, we're gonna go ahead and claim 60% of that.
Yeah, no, it's not 100%. You can't tell me you did not use that cell phone for personal use.
Everything is business, Robert. Everything is business.
Everything can be. Everything can be. Yeah, sure. And I'll ride the wave for you, but I will also. Err on the side of caution and try to keep you out of trouble.
I'm gonna start answering my phone. This is so and so from a such and such podcast.
That's it. Yeah.
And now every call is a business call.
We could bump that up to 75%.
Everything's a business call.
So what's the biggest misconception about LLCs?
Okay, especially in California. Lawyers love LLCs, and people hear the LLC and think it means more than it does. All that means is it's a name, and it's a name that separates from you and your social security number. I am not a fan of LLCs, especially in California. So first off, the second you become an LLC, $800 a year for California, just for doing business, whether you make $1 or not, $800 just for the pleasure of doing business in California per year. No. So you can be a sole proprietor, load up on insurance. Do you know how much insurance you could get for $800 a year? Get an umbrella policy, cover you. You could do doing business as, if you don't like your name out there, that's free. You could load up on insurance, do a DBA, and keep everything else the same. And you just saved yourself $800 per year. In addition to the taxes. So the second that there's an LLC involved per year, that's another between $100, $125. That's what I charge. And I'm on the cheaper side. I do compare my rates to others. If you go to an H&R Block, most of the time their fees are higher than mine, and they give you no backing. There's no person you can call. There's no one you can go to that you could rely on if you have a problem, whatever. So I do compare my fees. We are very cost conscious in my firm.
I don't know, Robert. I got that bill.
Compare my bill to someone else's. I guarantee you, we are right.
So we only had 2 more schedules on this motherfucker, Robert. I don't think this is justifiable.
Every time you do something new, it's another charge.
I get it. I get it.
But an LLC in particular, in addition to my fees, $800 per year for California. Yep. I would put that money toward insurance, doing business as, and you could do a DBA, you could file that. That's free. That's just paperwork.
But then what about self-employment tax?
So you have self-employment tax both ways. Having an LLC does not avoid a self-employment tax. So that's still a Schedule C both ways.
So no charge.
So LLC is an additional charge.
I'm joking about the Schedule C, right?
But me personally, I am not a fan of LLCs. Lawyers, big fan. You go to someone, you tell them, I'm trying to start a business. Oh, you got to get an LLC. I will say no, absolutely not. You do not. You can accomplish the same things.
Do you think that's? What about once you reach a certain size?
Nothing changes when you have an LLC. No.
So you would. What's your thoughts on S Corp?
I like an S Corp. You're still at $800 per year for the pleasure of doing business in California. That is flow through income. So the difference between an S Corp and a sole proprietor, you do get away from the self-employment tax, and you still have access to distribution. So it's still kind of your pot of money you have access to if you're running a profit. S Corp, you do have to pay yourself. You have to take a W-2 employment taxes. There is that aspect of it. But a sole proprietor, at a certain point, I would go an S Corp rather than an LLC every time.
What point is that?
So you got to be making money.
How much money?
So there's not a clear dividing line.
$800 a year.
But okay, so it's when the self-employment taxes have gotten more than so.
I see what you're going. Okay.
So once you get past the self-employment taxes, so that you're paying both the employer and employee portion of the taxes. A S Corp, you have to pay yourself, but it's just the employer portion of the payroll taxes. But you have to have payroll. So that comes with its own thing. You have your quarterly reports you have to file. You have your yearly reports. You got your W-2s. You got your... So there is costs that come with the S Corp.
I have a great CPA that does that stuff.
Yeah.
Right there.
So once the self-employment taxes are eating into your profits, that's when you start to transition.
Okay.
And there's not a clear dividing line, but once you are paying more in the self-employment taxes than you would be otherwise, that's the point.
Okay. So buy a car.
But you have to be making money.
Okay.
If you're claiming a loss, stay at sole proprietorship.
Okay. So expenses. All right. That's all I heard.
All right.
Claim the loss.
If someone starts making money off of YouTube, podcasts, Instagram, etc., what's the first thing they should do?
So track everything. Your expenses. I guarantee you have expenses. And as long as you can support that, track everything. Everything can be an expense. We talked about your phone. Everything can be an expense. So lighting, you have business use of home, so you have a designated part of your home. So at that point, you could claim part of your utilities, you could claim part of your mortgage interest, you could claim part of your property taxes. So
But can you do that if you're only, I mean, if you're working like with a W-2, or is that something you
no,
can...
so that has to be, once you have a 1099, you have to, once you are receiving a 1099 or self-employment, you can back it up. Documentation means everything. But so no, you don't get access to this on a W-2 job. But once you have a 1099, a Schedule C, if you do it right, a Schedule C, a Schedule E, a rental, if you do it right, depending on your goals, that can be a loss. I would say can be a lot when I stamp on your foot.
Yeah.
But you have to be able to back it up, and it's all about documentation. And so you have to be able to back it up in an audit situation, and that is the worst case scenario. If you can do that, if you have the documentation, if you have the phone bill, if you have the utilities, if you have whatever, if you can prove this is a designated space for your business, then you will beat the audit every time. But it's all on documentation. You got to have the documentation to back you up. The worst case scenario is the audit and then throwing out and then reassessing, and then they give you interest penalties and they backdate it. And so now here's what you owe us. That's what you want to avoid. And that's a worst case scenario.
Yeah.
So what's the difference between, because you spoke on this earlier, what's the difference between avoiding taxes and tax evasion?
So
Wesley Snipes.
tax evasion
So you gotta,
is,
like,
is
avoid
either
Me and Wesley Snipes.
evasion is just you don't pay it. You come up with some BS. You just throw something on there. You make something up, or you put your head in the sand and ignore it and just don't. You'd be surprised how many people that I deal with. I haven't filed in the last 10 years. What do you mean you haven't filed in 10 years? And
Crazy.
a lot of times they owe you money. You left money on the table for not filing.
How do I pick it up?
I did that.
You get 3 years.
No,
and
I don't have no money left on the table. That's for sure.
after that 3 years, you that's a donation to the government.
Yeah.
I
And
remember I did 3 years.
I would not do that. Never do that.
I've never.
No,
I
I
don't
did
think
it.
I've ever done
But,
that.
I did the 3 years.
Did
And then I
you?
filed and she was like, "Are you rich?" And I was like, "Fuck." She's like, they owe you money. And I was like, "Oh, really? Shit."
Oh, that's crazy.
I just didn't pay y'all for no reason.
And that's a nice little come up.
Yeah.
But keep in mind, a tax refund is you overpaying and you getting your own money
Yeah,
back.
yeah.
That is not the government doing you any favors.
Yeah. Oh,
That
no.
is that's your money. You were
They don't.
entitled to.
They don't do that.
And if you don't play by their rules, you are giving them money. Why would you do that?
Right.
But that is avoiding taxes. That's being smart. That's learning the code. That's making the code work for you.
Mm-hmm.
That is you playing by the rules. So they set the rules. You play by the rules, but you can make those rules work in your favor if you do it right.
Yeah.
So that's being smart. That is different than evasion. Evasion is these are the rules, and I'm going to make them up. I'm going to interpret that. Here's what I think that means. No, that's not what that means. I've had this conversation multiple times. I had a influencer, quote unquote, worst client that I've ever had. I fired them. So I
never heard of that.
they were under the impression if I have a receipt, it is a business expense. That is not how that works. And so one, they would be last second. So at the deadline, I'd get a shoebox and it would be just receipts. Make this make sense. Okay. So I'm looking at the receipts. So we went to a restaurant, alcohol. Most of the bill is alcohol. That's
Business
not a
meeting.
deduction. No. Then we have makeup. Makeup, not a deduction. No. Clothing. That's my uniform. I did a photo shoot and I needed this. So uniform, there's very specific rules on what a uniform is. You need a name tag. It needs to have your business. You can't wear that in any other setting other than work. And they said, I bought clothing. I got a receipt. This is a bit that's not an expense. Absolutely not. No, I'm not going to do that.
What if it's used as props?
So a prop, if it is used in a business setting, that is a deduction. Yeah.
Mhm, mhm.
But
Prop clothing.
so I would literally get in an argument with this person every year. And this person, the only way they were able to fund their lifestyle was their parents. Their parents were good clients of ours, and I got into a situation where I was uncomfortable, and I said, "I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do what you want." No, because that's me. That's my name on there,
Yeah.
and I still have to abide by what I need to do. So I give advice. I will tell you something. They disregarded everything and said that's what I want to do, and this is the way I interpret the. And I said you're wrong. You are absolutely wrong. So what they did, they called mommy, and their mom went around me and went to my mom, who that's my boss. So they went to my boss and said, "This is what we want." I said, "We won't do it." And luckily, me and my mother, we have a very good working relationship. I went to her, told her the facts, and she said, "Yep, you're right, and I got your back. We won't do it."
That's what's up.
And so
Nice.
we ended up firing them as a client, and that's fine. But no, it's not worth it. It absolutely is not. And your interpretation of what this means, I will say you are wrong. No.
I mean, I agree with you. I mean, after
Yeah,
everything
yeah.
you said, how long it took you to get the license, I'm not going to risk my license for some
Yeah,
dumb
yeah.
shit like this.
Yeah.
So you
No.
can save $3?
Just because my brain took it there. So would that mean an OnlyFans or
You
No.
can write off so much. So all of your lingerie, all of your props, all of your
Say-
cameras.
say
all-
less.
Say
Say less.
Yeah.
Start
So
this week.
I had a stripper and I wrote off her breast implants. You better believe it. I wrote that off as a business expense.
wow?
You invested in yourself for your business? Yes, no problem. I will do that every time.
Damn.
Shit. If you get a different set of tax stuff at some point down the time from me, just
What is this new handle?
what are some business expenses that people get audited for because they push it too far?
So first off, it's going to be mileage. We talked on this. So there's an average, and so the IRS, what designates a red flag? So the IRS, they process millions of returns, and so they come up with their range, and it's an acceptable range. And the second you are outside of that range, that's what's called the red flag. So mileage, first off, your 2% miscellaneous business expenses. So you have a W-2 job and you say, this is the expenses that I incurred to make this money. First off, the federal government, they completely did away with this section because it was so rampant in fraud. So it will only help you for the state at this point. 2% miscellaneous means first you have to come up with your adjusted gross income. Then you have to figure out 2% of that. You have to get above that, and then that's when those deductions start to matter. So say your work boots, your union expenses, so that's where these things go. Your uniform, and it better be a real uniform. But
It is.
Yeah, no, it is okay, but that's where these dry cleaning for the uniform. So the expenses that you incur to make the money that you make. But this section, that's where people they would play. And I have seen so like, oh really? It cost you $40,000 and your W-2 says $60,000. So 2/3 of what you made went to making that money.
How are you living?
Really? Yeah, yeah. So how do you put gas in it? How do you put food on a table? This doesn't make sense. So anytime it doesn't make sense, and I'll take a step back. Does this make sense? Is this what you're telling me? And people will double down. Yep, that's it. All right, sign here, here, and here. That's on you. I'll put it together for you, and I'll caution against it. And I will tell you, to me, this doesn't make sense. But if you got the documentation to back it up, then you win. I ain't gonna fight you on it.
So, what's one thing that every parent should know financially?
The sooner you start to save, the better. So the idea of compounding interest, if you know time value of money, there's always say this the college expenses always go up. You always hear you got to save for college. There's 529 plans. There's the new Trump accounts, which those are brand new. If you have a child under 18, get a Trump account. That's $1,000. If they were born within this year or next year, that's $5,000 on the table for filling out a form. Do that. Every single one of my clients that had a dependent under 18, we set them up with the Trump account. That's $1,000 for filling out a piece of paper that was government funded. That's
Wait, you set my account up?
Yeah.
So why I keep getting emails set my account up?
Hmm?
You did it already?
Yeah.
I'll ask you after.
It was with your last file. I get. Yep. every single one of our clients that had a dependent, we set an account up for their kids. That was $1,000. If the kid was brand new, they were born this year, next year, that's $5,000. The government will fund them. It is it's set up for retirement. It's essentially an IRA. There's a couple of exceptions. You can access that money after 18. That's the kid's money. It's got their name on it. It's their account. At 18, they have access to it. If they withdraw whatever money is in that account, that's income to them. They have to claim it unless there's 3 exceptions. It's for a house, it's for a business, or it's for their first time home. All of those are expenses that every person is going to incur. So filling out a piece of paper to get the government to give you $1,000 to $5,000, fill it out. Yeah, every time. Yes. So you are able to contribute to that account until they're 18. Your employer is able to contribute to that account and until they're 18. And at 18, they have access to it. I wouldn't rate it, but it's set up to be their IRA. It's their foundation for their retirement. And the government looked around and said, all these people, they're approaching retirement. Ain't no one saved for no one's ready for this. And they said, we will fund for the next generation to be better prepared. And that's what that Trump account is. So do that.
I'll have to borrow some money from her.
So should people hire a CPA before they make money or after?
So for the general population, they keep bumping up the standard deduction. If you are a standard deduction, you can file your own return. You don't need me. There's nothing I can do that's going to benefit you in that situation. You're at my base rate. I could put in the information just as easy as you could put in. I don't have a sandbox to play in. So once you start making money, that's when we can come up with strategy. That's when I have something that I can I could work for you.
You got to give a dollar amount, Robert.
No. So it's what you have going on. So what complicates a return is, say, flow through income. You have a trust. You have a Schedule C. You have a Schedule E. You have rentals. You have an S corp. You have a K1. That complicates your return and makes it harder for a normal person to be able to do. If you have a W-2, maybe some mortgage interest, you own a property and that's your situation, I could put in the information just as well as you, and there's not a whole lot I can do for you. You have a business, you have a rental, you have flow through income, anything like that. Now we can start playing with the numbers, quote unquote. And that's where I can make the code work in your favor. That's when I have a sandbox to play in. That's where I earn my fees.
All right, let's start playing.
What's one financial habit that separates wealthy people from everyone else?
The first one that comes to mind is going to be impulse control. Saving, a budget. So if you have money, you have money. Say you have $1,000 and you go down and you buy a name brand belt that costs $650. I'm sitting there going, no, that you cannot. Just because you had the money does not mean you can afford this. Always save, plan for the future, and investing. There's a difference between spending money on an asset versus spending money on an expense. So spending money on that belt, $650 or whatever it is. Okay, you got yourself a belt. That's an expense. That money's gone. And you can't resell that belt. You will never get $650 for that belt ever again. Name brand or whatever it is, that's gone. That money you just lit on fire. But you put that into a business, you save for your future, put that into a house. The first step in being able to retire, own your home. Not having that monthly expense, you would be surprised what you're able to accomplish with not having a mortgage. If you have a mortgage, retirement and not working, not having that money coming in, it's out of your grasp at that point. Most of the time, unless you're making stupid money. And if you're making stupid money, do whatever you want. But even then, you're showing up to work, you're working for it. You still need that money to come in.
Because this conversation is so dope, we got to split it into two. You'll catch us again for part 2 of Talk Your Shit with the boy Robert.
Yay.
Sweating. That's a wrap, y'all. That's how she wrapped. So make sure you click like, subscribe. Tune in. We on all streaming platforms. So until next time, we'll holla at you.